Hi folks, I'm back for another movie review tonight. As you can see, I don't know if you can really notice it, but we've upgraded our webcam from this Logitech 525 to the Logitech 615, which is a 1080p high definition webcam. So we're looking a little sharper, colors are a little more vibrant, things of that nature. And so we're starting a whole new era here. I kind of mentioned a couple months ago we were going to be upgrading here. So I think you can tell things are a little sharper looking. You know, it's a little nicer looking. I really like this webcam. I just installed it this afternoon, and it took like 5 minutes. It's pretty simple to do, and so I hope you like it. Anyway, I should dedicate this. I'm gonna dedicate this webcast to Kara C. I know probably won't she won't care, but I'm gonna dedicate it to her anyway. Hi, Kara. Anyway, tonight, geez, and you know what's really nice about this webcam? I even look better, ladies. Don't you really think I even look better? Oh my God, look at this. My colors are just popping out. Ooh, my God, my muscles are popping out even more. Look at that, folks. Hey, that's benefits of paying off, man. That's the benefits of working out and working out and working out and working out, and it shows. You know, nice and trim and muscular, and well, whatever. Enough with my self plugs. Got my posse behind me. You know, Clubber and the little weirdo clowns right there, and this weirdo clown right there. You know, the weirdo clowns back there. I kind of like this webcam. It looks really nice. Okay, enough with this goofiness. Goofiness? How about goofiness? Okay, we're going to review. Now, you all know I'm a very serious Munsters fan. Now, as I mentioned before, I've always talked about the Munsters versus the Addams family. And personally, I believe. Let me get some water, folks. I'm battling a cold, so I'm basically my voice is a little hoarse and off key tonight. Try to keep it a little bit better in check. So I've always preferred the Munsters. You know, I just think it's a better family. I think the Addams family were more bizarre, but I personally think the Munsters had represented more of a family atmosphere than the Addams family did. So anyway, that's my take on the two different, because they came out the same time in the 60s. So I like the Munsters better. So, you know, I'm sure there's always people on that side of the fence who prefer the Addams family, but I prefer the Munsters. We're going to talk about the movie that came out in 1960 called Munsters came. Oh, God, I got it. Oh, sorry, folks. I'm kind of out of whack tonight. Too much cold medication. Anyway, the Munsters Go Home came out in. This is actually a two-movie set. Munsters Go Home and The Munsters Revenge. So we're going to review The Munsters Go Home, the original movie 1966, after the series folded, basically. Now this has the original cast in it. The only thing is, the difference is Debbie Watson plays Marilyn in this movie. Now, my only gripe with that is this movie came out a year after the series folded. Why what happened to Pat Priest? I don't understand why she couldn't reprise her role in this particular movie. It was only a year later. I mean, she would have looked exactly the same, you know, but according, well, who knows? I really don't know why they chose Debbie Watson. She does a fine job, don't get me wrong. I mean, she basically she jumps right into the shoes of Pat Priest, perfectly fine. Now, this movie has a lot of famous people in it. Now, it has like Bernard Fox, it has Terry Thomas. Oh God, what's that British lady? Hermione Gingold? Hermione Gingold? You'll recognize her. They all been in tons of movies. Has Richard Pine. Oh God, of course, it has the whole Munster clan, Eddie, Grandpa, you know, Lily and Herman and stuff like that. And it basically it's a pretty good movie, actually. It's all goofy, you know. Basically, Herman gets a letter in the mail. Of course, they're back in America. He gets a letter in the mail. And of course, somebody has passed away over in England, and he's part of the inheritance. So he is going to inherit a big inherit. Whatever I said. I don't even know exactly what I said, folks. So he's going to inherit a. Oh, sorry, folks. a huge mansion and the fortune and stuff like that. So basically, he's pretty rich. And so, of course, the people who are occupying the mansion, Terry Thomas, the snotty sister, and Gingold, and the mother and everything, they're adamant about trying to get rid of the Munster clan once they get over to England. And of course, they have to go through customs and everything. The Munsters. It's a boat trip over there, folks. That's basically what it is. It's a boat trip over there. They're not flying over there, so oh, there's all kinds of shenanigans going on over there. There's Robert Pine trying to fall in love with Debbie Watson on the boat and stuff like that. And there's, of course, they finally get to the mansion and everything. We've got Richard Pryor too. Richard Pryor was in this movie too. He basically plays one of the smugglers of this fortune that's they're hiding. That's what the Munster secret is. That's what the whole thing. The movie is really basically about counterfeiting. And so Richard Pryor, Richard Pryor from the Family Feud and Hogan's Heroes and stuff like that. You recognize him instantly. And most of the actors of this movie are fairly recognizable. They all been in tons of movies and TV series and stuff like that. And so they're basically, they all do the parts very well. It's played for laughs. There's nothing serious about this movie. If you like the first season 1 and season 2 of the Munsters, you'll enjoy this movie. So what happens is that, they get over there. Of course, Terry Thomas and his sister and the mother are trying to scare him out of the mansion with all these stupid little, sheets over their head and stuff like that, because they basically think that that's what'll scare the Munsters back to America. Of course, that's not going to work because the Munsters are used to that kind of stuff, because that's what they are. Yes, that's what they are. It's just that's. Oh God, it's so stupid. There's skeletons coming out of sliding doors, screaming and everything, during the nighttime, and the Munsters they're thinking basically that their relatives are, coming or basically at the mansion trying to talk to them, or, and stuff like that. So, they're not scared at all. Terry Thomas is actually pretty good in this. He plays Freddie Munster. He's just he throws all these little tantrums and everything constantly. He's always sucking his thumb he's like 40 years old. The sister's about 40 years old. His mother, Hermione Gingold, whatever her name is, they always got this great scheme of trying to get rid of the Munsters, and scare them back to America so they can't, claim their inheritance, and it's not going to work, of course, and then there's the feud between the Munsters and Bernard Fox and his family, Freddie, Richard Pine, who loves Debbie Watson. It's a young couple. There's like a little romance on the side between Marilyn Munster and Robert Pine, I think, or Richard Pine, because basically they're trying to win this cup, like a road racing cup. And so, it's and of course they hate the Munster clan, the Munsters hate them, and so basically, of course, you got Marilyn on the Munster side and Richard on the snotty side. And so basically, it's really about, the movie's really about counterfeiting. That's what the secret of Munster Hall is, the Munster mansion is. It's all these people are trying to counterfeit money, the British pounds and stuff like that. And, it's all played for laughs. I really like this movie a lot. It's not to be taken seriously, just like the first season 2 of the Munsters. It's just basically all goofiness, and stuff like that. And, there's really not a lot of scenes. There's just a lot of stupid stuff in this movie. There's Richard. I think Richard Pryor is pretty good. He, of course, from the Family Feud. He basically kind of just he kind of just brings all these crates in and out of the basement of Lord Hall, the Munster Hall, and stuff like that. They got a counterfeiting press in the basement and stuff like that. And they're trying to, they're just counterfeiters basically. And they're just screwing around with currency and stuff like that. And of course, Herman and Grandpa discover what's going on. Of course, I think you all get the idea what these movies are all about. It's just very simple, straight to the point, low key humor. There's nothing really. You can't take these movies too seriously because the Munsters are basically just in my opinion, I would love to have been a Munster family member. I just love the way this family bonded together in their TV series and their family life and stuff like that. And it's in color, of course. This movie's in color. Of course, the TV series was in black and white the first 2 seasons, but I just recently found out that they just released season 1 and season 2 of the Munsters TV series in color, just for like an option to the black and white series. So I kind of think that I might buy that just to see what it looks like, because I had the season 1 and season 2 in black and white, of course, of the Munsters TV series. So I kind of want to compare those two. I mean, folks, I'm a Munsters fan. I just love the way this family bonds together. They always help each other through thick and thin, and it just seemed to be a really loving family. Of course, you got all the other monsters that come in too every once in a while too. You got like what's this? What is that? Uncle Gilbert. He comes in during the regular season. A creature from the Black Lagoon. he's in one episode of the TV series. It's pretty cool. He has this huge box of gold doubloons or whatever it is. This gold pieces that he's salvaged. Basically from sunken ships and stuff like that. But I'm getting away from the TV movie, so we got to get back to that. I kind of get carried away when I'm a little messed out on medication here. So anyway, this movie has a lot of. I mean, There's nothing scary about this movie. It's all fun and games and humor. It's just meant to be goofy, and it's everybody's just has smart aleck remarks and stuff like that. They're just cocky, and they're just kind of mean spirited towards each other. The two clans, the Munster clan and Terry Thomas' mother and his mother and his sister's clan and stuff like that. They don't want to give up the mansion, basically. Because especially the Americans, because of course they think the Americans are inferior, because they're a colonial country, whatever. And of course, I love the idea that Herman Munster goes over and he calls himself Lord Munster. He has his jacket, long tan jacket, and he has embroidered on the back Lord Munster. He's got the top hat and everything, and it just goes right to his head, Herman Munster. And I really, I truly love Herman Munster, Lily, Eddie, Marilyn, Grandpa, and the rest of the members of the Munsters family. I think as a little kid, of course, I was really young when that TV series came out. I don't think I was even actually barely born, but I think I might have been born, but not too much. They're a little bit older than I am. But the sad thing about the Munsters is that they've all passed away pretty much. Yvonne DeCarlo has passed away. Fred Gwynne has passed away. Al Lewis has passed away. Butch Patrick is still alive. In fact, he runs a Munster website or a Facebook page. Marilyn, I think, is still kicking around. So is Beverly Owen. She played the original Marilyn for the first, 10 episodes or 15 episodes before basically she was replaced by Pat Priest. What's really nice about the Munsters is, they had a lot of great character actors always on their TV series, coming in and doing little goofy little stints, stints and stuff like that, and episodes and stuff like that. I really truly enjoyed that. It was all lighthearted fun, it was not meant to be taken seriously, and Mockingbird Drive, or Mockingbird, whatever it was, and I really liked the idea that the rest of the block was always dry looking, and then every time you get close to the house on the same, it'd be raining and windy right over the Munsters' house, and that's cracked me up. It's like I would love to live there. I would do anything to live there. I would pay rent to live there, folks. It is hilarious. I love the inside and the outside of the Munster house. It's just, am I getting away from the movie? I think I'm getting away from the movie. I am sorry. Anyway, let's go back to the movie real quick before we go back to the Munster house back in Los Angeles. So there's the road race, of course, between the Munster clan and a bunch of other people in the village, and to see who's going to win the big old cup and everything. And I can't remember who wins. I think the Munsters win it. It's like a big old goblet cup, gold cup or whatever. It has a happy ending, of course. Marilyn falls in love with, Richard Pine and stuff, or Robert Pine, whatever his name is, and stuff like that. So it has a happy ending, stuff like that. I would rate this movie pretty high, but you can't take this movie seriously. It's just meant to be goofy and fun, and it's just kind of like basically fantasy. That's really what it is, folks. Just kind of fantasy. But back to the Munster house. Now, I always liked the idea that the Munster house is always windy and rain every time you came into that particular block of where they lived, Mockingbird Lane. It'd always be raining and windy. Every time you just drive with the front of their house on your car and it'd just be pouring rain and windy and everything. It was just kind of so cool. It's just like, then you go into the house, it's filled with cobwebs and, you had the Munster family in there, talking about things and, doing normal family stuff. And of course they were outcast because of the way they looked. But, I would prefer to be part of that family than pretty much any family that I can really think of. Just because of the fact they were just so loving towards each other and things like that. And of course, I'm talking about, it's kind of nostalgic stuff I'm talking about right now. But, I truly miss the Munsters, They've had a few TV movies since, in the last 10, 20 years, with different actors portraying the Munsters and stuff. But, the thing is, it just will never be the same without the original actors like Fred Gwynne, Al Lewis, Yvonne DeCarlo, Butch Patrick, Beverly Owen, Pat Priest, and all the rest of them. That's the sad thing about life is that people pass on. New people try to take over those roles, remake stuff like that, but it really never works. Because the original is always the best. In my opinion, always is the best. It just proves it with all the from this movie. Of course, we're going to talk about the second movie in a couple days. That's called The Munsters' Revenge. That movie came out actually in the early 80s. That's when they all got back together again. Of course, they're a little bit older looking, but, if that one has Sid Caesar in it and stuff like that. And it basically is about, the Egyptian stuff, the robots in the wax museum and stuff like that. That's a whole nother story, so we don't have to worry about that there. I kind of like that movie, too. It's kind of stupid. And of course, they got another actress playing Marilyn, but, what can you do? So anyway, let's rate this movie. Let's see, I'm not sure what I rated the first season or two of the Munsters. I probably would have gave that a 9 or a 10. Probably a 10 considering the way I feel about the Munsters. So I'm going to, since this came out right after the end of the series, I'm still going to give this movie, oh God, how can I rate this movie? I'm sure people are going to complain to me. They're going to go, oh, Spidey, this movie just isn't up to par. It's not, it's just, it's not as good as the TV series. I think it is. It's a year later or so, but they reprise the roles beautifully. There's no deviation between the end of the series and this particular movie, 1966, except for Debbie Watson playing Marilyn. So I'm gonna give this movie a 9. I'm gonna give it a 9. Now, when I rate my movies, I think, personally, this is what I think it's worth, a 9. 1 to 10 Spiderwebs, I think, personally, this movie rates a 9. If you like the TV series from 63, 64, or whatever, 65, this movie fits in very beautifully with that particular series. It's a perfect continuation of the for season 1 and season 2. So basically, it still rates pretty high for me. So I'm going to give it 9 Spiderwebs, whether you like it or not. So that is my review for this week. 9 Spiderwebs for The Munsters Go Home. See if you get a good shot of that. There's without reflection off the ceiling lights. There he goes. Oh, there we go. Now there's the back cover. I don't know if you can see this very well. That's not too bad right there, is it? Okay, let's try to do this on the front cover. There we go. Anyway, I think that's actually from the 1966 movie, Munsters Revenge or Go Home. So that's what I'm rating it. 9 Spiderwebs. Take it or leave it. That's my rating. I'm sure you're going to complain and bitch about it, but like I said, I'm a Munsters fan, and I'm really nostalgic because I kind of grew up in that era. So I basically kind of have fond memories of that stuff. And, you know, there's a lot of people who were born before that or after, whatever, doesn't make any difference. But for me personally, that is one of my fond memories. One of my fond memories, you know, the Munsters and the Addams family, of course, too. So that's my review, and we will see you next time on Spidey's movie review. Sorry about the cold tonight, folks. I'm a little under weather. See you later. Bye.